In the near future, obelisks descend from the sky and offer humanity a choice: play in the games or die. And of course, humanity stands up to the challenge and chooses to play in the games. An artificial intelligence that looks suspiciously like Alex Trebek has read all of Earth's literature, and realizing that Earth are the underdogs, that they're not magically adept like the Inni or powerful like the Bruteros, the AI has decided to give humanity a leg up and has chosen its favorite characters from Earth's literature to participate in the game.
Earth is screwed. There's no doubt about it. Like, these guys are the underdogs. In an effort to try to even the playing field for Earthlings or for the planet Earth, a strange figure called Lewis. He has discovered a planet which manufactures a salve, which he believes if we can get this salve, or at least get the salve in sufficient quantities, it will help turn the tide of the games in Earth's favors. So Mr. Warren has commandeered one of the Obelisk ships to help get you guys to this planet and get you down onto the planet's surface in an effort to get the salve. So, Mr. Morgan?
Thank you very much. So, we'll start inside the cabin of this ship. The spaceship is fairly rudimentary, fairly small, a tight cabin, so you're pressed together. Warren is at the front, at the helm, which is the front bit, right? Anyway, he's driving the ship, and you are both in the back. You are familiar with each other. Your characters, I should say. You have been fighting together, so you know each other. You know for a period of time, let's say a few weeks at least, you've been fighting together. You're aware of yourselves, your fighting styles, all that sort of stuff, and you know Warren as this kind of legendary hero of Earth that is fighting for the survival of the species. He has come to you both and said there's an amazing opportunity on this desert planet to find this mysterious substance that can legitimately help us and might give us a better fighting chance. So we're doing a mission to try and go and grab that. And you've gotten in the escape pod, or the little ship. You're on your way to this desert planet, and in there we're coming to know you for the first time. So we'll start off, and I'll start with you, Jeff. If you could describe your character, who they are, roughly what they look like, that would be amazing.
Allison Jennings is all of 4 feet 11 and a half inches, but she's got platinum blonde hair that's in a super tight bun that only the Marines and the Army can do, with a lot of hair that fits in a very small space, piercing blue eyes, and what you would call a overbearing physique, because her neck and shoulder muscles are way more developed than normal for a human, because she's from a planet where the gravity is 1.4 Gs, and not just that, but the atmosphere is 2.5 times what it is in Denver. So it's a high pressure atmosphere that she's from. I don't know what the gear would look like in the world, so whatever rifle she has is fine. She would find boots for sure, some sort of military uniform, and as many knives as she could possibly fit on her body.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. So that is Allison Gunny Jennings. And is Gunny the kind of nickname?
Well, I mean, I don't know which character the Colonel is playing, but the lack of rank structure in the world probably would mean her Gunny rank wouldn't be a whole lot.
Right. Okay. Allison Jennings. There we go. Okay, Jonathan, if you could describe in the same way your character, who from memory is Aiden, was that correct? Or
Aiden Kaz.
Aiden Kaz, very good.
And so, Aiden is a U.S. Marine. He's a sergeant. He was he was a shitbird until he got bit by an Iraqi werewolf. He managed to survive the transition, which is very, very rare. And so he not only can he transform to a Varg, A Varg is like the Lon Chaney kind of werewolf, kind of humanoid, but he has the ability to go full lichen, which is a wolf. He's stronger than your average bear. He can smell better, sense things better. He can heal very quickly, and in the bed, he can also recover very quickly there too.
A nice little detail, which, I mean, we might get into it. You never know. Hopefully not. We'll see. We'll see
I
how we
hope it's
go.
not that kind of game because
Yeah, that would
That
make
was
a.
the
I love the
Just play
Iraqi
with bards.
werewolf.
Basically,
That's not a sentence you
his
hear very often.
abilities are strength and senses and ability to recover.
Right, got you. Okay, so we are in this vessel heading towards the planet, heading towards the atmosphere. But as you're looking out the windows of this of the ship, you start to notice a haze around the planet, which seems to be more than atmosphere. There's something else going on. And as you descend, the ship starts to shake a little bit. Things start to get a little bit hairy. Neither of you are panicked, of course, because you're experienced veterans. However, as you're passing through this layer of the stratosphere, you start to see figures moving, shapes moving outside the windows. These ethereal forms, some sort of snake-like, some more, let's just do it, dragon-like. There we go, people. We've done the dragon bit of D&D. So these strange forms, some worm-like as well, and they are passing by the windows. But as you descend further, the shaking gets worse, and some of these forms start to edge into the ship itself. You start to feel these things moving through. They don't appear to be causing harm yet, but something is definitely going on, which is a little bit strange. Then through the speaker from the cabin, Warren informs you that you are going through something which is called an ether wraith storm. It's some sort of protective mechanism over the planet to stop, random people coming in. And he explains that he does have an ability that could have essentially transported you all to that planet. But the reason why we've had to go this mundane route with the spaceship and all is because of this barrier, which is preventing people from just Captain Kirking their way into the planet and so forth. So as you go through, everything is sort of, moving. It's getting a little bit intense. And at precisely the same time you pass through this membrane, you feel the presence of this ether storm sort of flood through you, and something happens. You're holding your weapons, anticipating landfall. What I need you to do is I need you to roll a d20, please. So that's the big one.
17.
9.
Okay, we're going to start with Jeff because it's going to be more fun. All right, so as a result of this strange ethereal storm that passes through the ship, bizarre changes happen. You feel a bit of a tingling up and down your spine, a pressure in your head, but it passes very quickly. But two things happen as this storm passes through. So the first thing that happens is that that pressure causes a little bit of damage. So Jennings takes 3 points of damage. We'll say sort of psychic damage caused by this jarring storm as it goes through.
And I will be keeping track of your damage, guys. So
at the same time, Aiden also feels this pressure and this sort of psychic damage. Aiden takes 1 point of damage.
This is something Aiden goes through all the time.
Yeah, he's used to it.
What you described is exactly what happens to Shift.
There you go. It just feels like home to him then. That's great. All right. The second change that happens, and this is where things get a little bit strange. The weapon that Jennings is holding, let's say it's an assault rifle, turns into a banana. An oversized banana, but a vegetable essentially. It's a bit deformed. It looks a bit like an assault rifle, but it's definitely a banana. That is what it is. It is law. However, Aiden has a slightly different effect. His pistols that are sort of holstered, they undergo a change as well. They essentially look the same, but you feel the weight change. So you pull them both out just to check the weapons, and you find that they're entirely made of wood. Everything is the same. They don't function anymore. They're essentially clubs now, made of wood. And the ship descends, and nothing else happens. You're through that etheric barrier and heading toward the planet.
Perfect.
Well, unless we're fighting giant monkeys.
So, as you land on the planet, Trebek, the AI, who you're very familiar with, he has helped you during the games. He's kind of like your companion to help make games make sense. Opens the cockpit door, and out comes Warren, who you're kind of really seeing for the first time. Warren, please describe yourself, but also roll a d20 so we see what happened to you.
Okay. Let's see what I got here. I got a 14.
Excellent.
So Warren comes out. This is after we landed, right? Are we cruising for a bruising on autopilot?
No, you've landed now. You've landed on this planet.
So Warren comes out, just rubbing his head. He's got like this long, like rocker boy hair and beat up plate mail. It's black and a tattered red cape that's seen better days from all the fighting he's been doing. He's like, well, that was a trip. You guys feel anything weird and freaky back here, or is it just me?
Situation normal.
That felt distinctly not normal, but okay.
And Warren, what weapon do you have?
Well, it's supposed to be a great sword, but who knows what it is now?
It's a great sword. It's an impressive weapon. Slightly less impressive because now it's made of wood, but essentially it's the same size and just not quite as heavy and prone to splintering and breaking. You do also take one point of damage from the storm.
Then Warren would feel the definite weight change behind that weapon and pull it. I'd be like, the hell happened? Why are you holding a tactical banana?
I've been saying that since we got here. Are the knives still knives, or are they wooden?
Oh no,
they're wooden. They're all wooden. Essentially, any weapon that you had is in Aiden's case.
He went
in Aiden's case, they're all wooden. In Warren's case, they're all wooden. In Jennings' case, they're a vegetable of some kind or a fruit of some kind.
I simultaneously love and hate this planet already.
Yeah, all right. So this is going to start dropping bananas and cucumbers and carrots on the ground.
So the AI appears in all of your vision, and he's like, fantastic, we have now landed on planet Gudvik. Please repeat after me, planet Gudvik.
Planet Gudzik.
Close
Planet
enough.
Goth chicks?
Not close enough. He pulls out this map, and it looks like a constellation, right? And he basically says, we're trying to head to here. And basically, what this map is, or what the AI basically informs you is that this map is, although it looks like a star map, in actuality, you can kind of map, that's not the word, or translate the points in the stars to points on the planet, and you're aiming to head for a very specific place on the map. Yeah, so when you head out, it would be about 4 miles north of where you currently landed.
Since I took a point of damage, I'm going to shift to Varg. So in about a minute, I won't have any damage.
Nice.
Excellent. All right. So what do you look like when you shift?
I look like the Lon Chaney type of werewolf. Humanoid, the cheap movie werewolf, stands on 2 legs.
All right. Can you still talk?
Guttural talk.
Guttural talk. Okay.
And you can understand everything. It just the voice drops, goes down a couple tones. As the lichen, that's where I can't really talk.
Excellent. All right, perfect. So that takes about, you guys look towards Aiden and you realize that he's just kind of breathing heavily and he's just, his physical shape is changing. He's getting hairier and it takes about a minute for this transformation to happen. And since Aiden didn't say anything to you guys, do you do anything while you're watching this person heave and kind of hoe and, clearly be within himself?
That seems like it would be a lot more useful than human form.
Okay.
So
But
Warren's already kind of.
it takes energy. And so for long periods of time, you don't use as much energy. You have to eat after you shift.
Okay, so Jennings is going to hand him a carrot.
Last the longest.
If only we
Warren
had a
just
source
looks
of
over.
potassium and sugar available, that would be amazing.
There's
Warren
sugar
was
in
just look
carrots.
over at Ada's like, you want some clippers for all that extra beard you got all of a sudden?
All right. So you are at this sort of landing site. As the dust settles, you're out of the ship. The change is happening. All of that's happening. You start to realize that where you've landed looks like a very old abandoned settlement. There are sort of ruined walls here and there, rocks and that sort of thing around within a larger desert. But this was some sort of dwelling or a series of dwellings that have been ruined over time. You also, I will get you to roll a d20.
1.
You don't see anything. You don't notice anything. You're just transforming.
That's 100% away from who I am.
Yeah, the dice have spoken. What about you, Jeff? Also,
All right.
Nat 20.
5% chance
Oh.
of that happening.
Best roll of the entire game. I'm calling it now.
Okay, so
So wait, hold on. We got 2 natural ones and 1 natural 20.
I'm not sure what the odds are of that happening.
the 2 soldiers that are going on this mission, Jennings and
Marine.
Aiden.
Please don't use
Sorry,
the word
Marines.
soldier.
Yeah,
Marines.
don't be insulting the army that way.
The 2 fighters that
Marines.
are doing this.
Thug warriors. I'll buy that one.
All right. Well, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary, which is in itself strange because you're on a foreign planet, and there's obviously going to be adversaries and that sort of thing. But you don't notice anything, partially because one of you is going through a transformation, and the other one of you is observing that transformation and also thinking through how best to use a banana assault rifle in any meaningful way in a fight. And is there anything else around that I could use? It's on the cusp of ripe. It's not overripe.
So it's hard
it's
enough
not
that if I
spotty.
threw it at somebody, it probably would distract them.
It's got a bit of heft to it, but you'd want to be careful because the weight of the object means it could break in half because there's a lot of water weight in there. Never thought I'd be talking so much about a banana gun, but anyway, that's where we are. So you guys don't notice anything at all. However, Warren, being the veteran that he is of many, many, many battles, has his senses heightened from months and months fighting in the arena. Sorry, not the arena, in the Obelisk, in the games. Notices you are not alone. And I will show you the map. A little bit of a map. This sort of shows you where you are. So there's the ship. You guys are here around number 1. Not too far away, you notice that there are, where these little 2, 3, 4 are, there are 3 creatures. And Warren gets the impression that those 3 beings were in the middle of something that you've just interrupted by landing a spaceship almost on top of them. And they have turned their attention to you. They obviously see that this is potentially a threat. What you see, Warren, is you see 3 creatures that are humanoid looking, roughly in shape and size, but they're a combination of, some of them are wearing armor. One of them is wrapped with linen wrappings. They seem to be an etheric kind of being, like smoky presence wrapped in that armor or those bandages, if you like. One of them is predominantly colored red armor, those sorts of things, holding a very large scimitar in one hand, fairly bulky, bigger than the others. So you have that sort of, and you get the feeling that they're essentially what in the West we might call genies or jinn, that sort of thing. It's that kind of look. So you have the red jinn with this giant sword. You have another one off to the side that's blue in color, feminine in form, dressed in silks and surrounded by a sort of blue misty haze, and with jewelry and that sort of thing. She's off to the side. And then you see a smaller yellow jinn who is wrapped in linen fabric tightly. It kind of looks a little bit like a mummy, if you like. They all turn to you, and the big one, the red one, starts moving. What is your... Now, bear in mind, the 2 fighters have not seen anything yet. Warren has noticed this. How would you like to proceed?
Actually, and if I may, Brazee, can you roll a d20, please?
17.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so your character served in Iraq, served in the desert,
Afghanistan, Iraq.
Yeah, has engaged with Arabian culture, Bedouin tribes, and you, like, especially the yellow one, you've heard of, like, I mean, these really remind you of the creatures that you've heard of that live in the deserts, the jinn, the afrit, and what's unusual to you and immediately stands out is that you know that jinn are largely standoffish creatures. They're very tribal creatures. And there's a red one and a blue one, and those you've never heard of, right? Like the yellow ones.
I'm also, since I'm a Varg, I'm colorblind now, so I can't tell the difference between the red and the yellow.
Okay. Never mind.
Big and small, I can, obviously.
Okay, never mind. That is a very valid point. The only thing you notice is, like, we're not on Earth, but yet these remind you of these creatures that you have heard many legends about when you were serving in the Middle East. And of course, maybe now is not the time to try to dig out all the knowledge you know about them, as well, the one with the scimitar is starting to move because you don't know it's red.
Well, Warren, being completely oblivious about any of this, will point them out and be like, guys, those are genies like in Aladdin. There's 3 of them. That means we get 9 wishes, right? Right?
What's an Aladdin? That's what Jennings would say.
He'll just look over at Jennings and be like, I'm sorry, world's tallest dwarf, but have you not seen movies?
So, yeah, you should note that Warren is like very tall. He's like 6'3" or 6'4".
And has 0 filter.
Oh, he's really tall then.
And 0 filter.
As someone who is 5'7", that is huge. All right. Stop demasculating me, Jeff. Stop it. All right. So what happens while you guys are kind of debating back and forth is, please everyone roll a d20.
12.
A 1.
As you pet your cat like a Bond villain.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
12.
12. All right. So it's Jonathan, you're 15 is your initiative. What did you roll again, Jeff? Sorry.
12, surprisingly.
Connect.
You're both 12, huh? So you're both 15. I'll let you rock, paper, scissors. Which one of you actually goes
Werewolf
first?
would probably go first.
Okay. So in terms of gameplay, you both are going to go the same time, but in terms of like logistics in this scene, Jonathan, you speak first, and then Warren, you're a super dead last because the gen rolled 20 and is going to go well above and before anyone. Okay, so the red gen immediately points at Jonathan's character, points his sword at it, and starts screaming in a language that you clearly don't understand at Jonathan's character while looking at the blue one, right? Like, so he's like, if there's Jonathan and there's the blue one, he's like pointing at the Jonathan, and then looking at the blue one and yelling at her as well, and just kind of yelling in these two directions quite violently, clearly undecided as to what to do. The blue one is just staring at you guys, just kind of dividing her attention between the three of you. And the yellow one, you can't really tell what he's doing.
Are these large-sized creatures, or huge creatures, or medium creatures?
They're medium creatures. They're they're 5'10". The red one is probably Warren's size, and then the other two are about 5'10". So medium-sized creatures.
So you go first, Jonathan. You say what you're going to do first.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Well, I'm in my bard form, which means I'm more aggressive anyway. And he's pointing a scimitar at me, so I've got useless handguns, which I don't even care about. Not when I'm shifted. So I'm going to charge him and go underneath his sword, because I have fought against people with swords before, and as long as it's not silver, as long as it's not a silver sword, I really don't care. Let him cut me.
Do you know what? We've actually have this detail written down, and you're very. It is not silver, but I mean, like, I didn't even think, like, when we were pulling this together, I didn't even think it. Well, I lied. So when I pulled this together with no help from Morgan, who did nothing. Right? Okay, I'm just kidding. When Morgan did all the work, is the real truth. He actually wrote metal sword. So there you go. Okay, what do you? So we're gonna take all the turns in order. What do you do, Jeff?
Jenny's going to take off running at the red djinn, the sword,
Okay.
with the intention of grappling the sword away from him.
All right. So the two of you go towards the red djinn. Okay. Waldo, or Warren rather.
Warren has no idea what's going on here, but the red one is clearly angry, so he's gonna try and walk up to the blue one and like, I'm sorry about my friends, they're new here. Like, what's up? Like, what's going on here? Do you speak English?
Right. Okay.
Roll a charisma check.
Yeah. That's actually
really should.
That's a great point, Jeff. Roll a charisma check, please.
Rolled a whopping 10.
A whopping 10. And you are a fairly charismatic, so with your bonus, that's a 14. However, 13. However, because you're going last, you're kind of talking after these two attacked him.
Which was entirely the plan. They're fighting in the background. I was just trying to talk to this lady.
Yeah. So, all right. So, please, Jeff and Jonathan both roll 20s. Now, the thing is, because the red djinn, just in terms of game dynamics, won the initiative, it had delayed its actual attack to the very end because it wasn't sure what you guys were going to do, right? And so it will get a chance to attack afterwards.
Okay, so if I recall correctly, a grapple check is an athletics check.
Yes, sorry, yes, please. Roll an athletics check for You, and then for you, you're rolling a mauling check, right? So it's just it's basic your basic THAC0. Well, I mean, not that we're playing 5th edition.
Whoa! What did you just say?
I know. I'm a second. I missed 2nd edition. I wish it was.
You're about 40 years too late for that, my friend.
I love 2nd edition. Anyway, go ahead. What did you get? What did you guys get?
16, so 20 with the bonus.
6.
20 on the bottom. And a 6. Okay. So, Jonathan, you go to start like slashing at the creature. And I mean, this thing is like, for its size, is extremely nimble. Almost kind of like smoke-like. Okay. As in, it just kind of like moves around with a fluidity that you wouldn't think someone of its bulk and size would be able to do. Sergeant Gunny here. Allison is
Gunnery Sergeant is the rank, so it'd just be Gunny. Gunny Sergeant would, if you're being formal, but Sergeant Gunny would be like
weird.
Yeah.
As an alien AI, I do not understand your ranking system. So Allison, Allison goes to grab the creature and absolutely successfully manages to grab. You've got a super tight grip on this thing, okay? And so I'm going to give you a chance to just describe what part, because you rolled so high, what part are you grabbing? And, you know, give me a couple details as to how you're actually holding on.
Well, Allison primarily uses jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, so she probably would go for an arm bar on the arm that has the weapon. So basically locking the elbow and preventing him from using that arm.
I am going to say this right now, Jeff. That was hands down the best thing you could have done. Okay? So I mean, like, quite honestly, the consequences to your attack are sadly dire. However, you might have saved people a lot of pain, because what happens is you go to grab the arm and you pull it off beautifully, right? Like, I mean, you didn't roll a natural 20, but you hit 20. You're well above its armor class, and you did it super beautifully. And it caught, and you notice that, like, you got a firm grip on a very muscular arm, when all of a sudden it really starts to turn soft and kind of like misty like, and it just, you're now holding yourself rather than the arm, but it drops its sword when it turns into mist. It reappears right behind you and hits you on the back of the head. What is your armor class?
Her armor class is 18.
And misses horrifically.
It attempts to hit.
Attempts, that's right. So he's behind you, and he attempts to hit you, but rolled a 3, complete miss. And then with its other hand, seeks to hit this beast that clearly disturbs it. For an 18, what's your armor class? It's the little armor thing in the sheet. So I have it in front of me. It's a 13, just so you know.
Armor. Okay, I see it. 13.
Hits you for 2 points of damage. So
a love tap.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it doesn't really hit you. It kind of grazes by you, gets enough, you know, a bit of shoulder, but that's about it. You know, takes off a couple hairs. And that's it. All right, Warren. Sadly, your cries fall on nothing. Warren, please roll a perception check.
All right.
What did you roll?
16.
16. All right. And Warren, what you do is you're trying to talk some sense into everyone, when all of a sudden you feel this thing wrap around your legs and knees. The yellow gen is clearly trying to hold you down. Meanwhile, the blue gen is doing nothing.
Do I get to respond to that yellow Jin?
You do not. You're going to have to wait till the next round. All right. So next round. Now, in order to just keep this going fast, we're going to just keep our initiatives because we'll try to, wrap this up because battles in Dungeons and Dragons can go on forever. So we're going to try to keep it going. And also Morgan is sitting there going, God damn it, I shouldn't have had a battle scene as the opening thing. I run the battle scenes in the DMing. All right, so new round. The red Jin is trying to go for his sword, so he's going to use one attack for his sword and one attack to hit Aiden. So the attack on Aiden is just a horrific miss, and it's going to be an attack to try to get the sword.
Well, wait a second. I forget on 5th edition D&D, but isn't picking something up provoke an attack of opportunity?
So, yes, sure. Why don't you, instead of calling it an attack of opportunity, describe what you see. So it tries to hit Aiden, sorry, and misses again. Right? It's clearly flabbergasted. This is not its best day, rolling a 4. And then it tries to kind of turn around and in kind of using an athletics check, grab the sword and pick it up. It wants the sword back. So what do you see and what do you do as an opportunity?
So probably the most expedient thing to do would be to kick the sword away.
Okay. All right. So let's both roll D10s and with a dex modifier.
D10 or D20?
D10 with a sorry, a D20. Sorry, I didn't mean D20 with a dex modifier.
16. That's with the modifier.
You kick it right. You kick it. Now I'm going to give you a luck roll. Roll a D6, please, if you have one.
Well, I got all the dice. 3.
5 and 6 are lucky. Everything else is down to 1 is unlucky.
3.
A 3. You kick it and you get it away from him. Had you rolled a 5 or 6, you would have kicked it to Warren. All right.
That would have been lucky?
Yeah.
He would have chatting up a girl. I'm not sure how that would be lucky.
He would have. He's good with the sword, Warren. He's good with the sword.
I love the flashy bits.
Okay, cool. It's Jonathan, your turn. What do you do?
I'm going to chase the sword.
You're going to chase this.
I'm going to try to grab the sword, which he kicked to the side.
Okay. Roll a D20. It's an athletics check.
Man, I can't even read anything.
So I bought.
Not very good. 7.
14. Yeah, you managed to pick up the sword, but not before it hits you again in the back of the head for 1 point of damage because
and not to belabor a point here, but damage unless they kill me with silver or something, damage doesn't have very much of an effect on me.
Right. Well, you're 5 points lower. Yes, but yes, you're barely hurt, and you don't even notice your wounds. All right, Jeff, what do you do? You are, for some reason, mute. Oh, you mute yourself. Sorry.
Like the kids were making noise. Now that somebody capable has the sword, Jennings is going to go for. Does it have legs or is it floating in the air? It's just a torso.
It has legs. It has legs, but it's clearly the armor it's wearing. Whatever, it seems to be an extension of itself. It seems to be like not really made of flesh per se.
So what Jennings is going to do is she's going to try and get around it so that it will turn and face her, and present her back. It's back to the Varg.
Okay.
So
who's the Bard?
The Varg.
The Varg. Okay, sorry. I heard Bard. I heard Bard.
I heard Bard when he said it first too, but then I realized that he meant Varg, or that he said Varg, and I just heard it wrong.
Yeah.
And so to do that, what she's going to do is she's going to run up and kick it in the nuts.
Okay. Okay. Please roll a d20. Let's call this one an acrobatics check rather than an athletics check.
Please
17.
be a 20. Oh.
17. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. You kick it. Okay. Now I'm gonna roll a luck for this guy. Okay. If I roll a 6, he's very lucky. Everything else connects. Okay. I roll a 2. He's not lucky. You do some really good damage. You very much hurt this creature. Very much hurt this creature.
Rami, can you please describe in intricate detail the area that gets impacted by the?
Yeah. So what happens is, so he goes, like, it realizes what Allison's trying to do, and so it tries to turn to smoke, but doesn't do it fast enough. And so quite literally kicks it, and what you see are these two tufts of smoke that really kind of look like, balls just floating away into the sky as this creature screams. All right, Warren, what do you do?
I turn to the yellow djinn. Where it just goes like, so you have chosen violence. It just draws that sword. It just brings it down like a hammer on his head.
Okay. Excellent. Roll a d20, please.
18.
18. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, perfect. Congratulate. Roll a d6, please.
D6. Let me see that. 5.
Okay, and then roll another d20 for a perception, a passive wisdom check. 18 and above, you get all the knowledge.
16.
Okay, so you don't really know what happened there, but you hit it with the sword. It's wooden, but you hit it at the right angle, so you're not breaking the wood per se. You've cut it, and immediately this tuft of smoke comes out of like where you hit it in the head. And I'm talking about like fiery smoke. This is like really hot stuff, super steam. You take 3 points of damage. What do you call it? But what you do realize is whatever it was trying to do to you, it was clearly trying to cast some kind of spell or something like that. You disrupted the spell.
Nice. Okay, so these things are made of spicy gas. Do I have any more attacks, or is this just the one?
Actually, John, no, you don't. Yes, you have 2 more attacks.
I will continue to choose violence.
Okay, so roll 2 more d20s, please.
15 and 14.
Okay, roll 2 more d20s again, please.
9 and 10.
Sorry, Warren. So the first 2 20s were to see if you hit, and you did hit. And please roll 1d10 plus 6 twice.
5 out of 3, and then 7 and 1.
So 5 and a 3 and a 7 and a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So basically, I mean, congratulations. You've knocked this, like, you've actually killed this thing. It only had 22 hit points. And you, I'd actually like both Jonathan and you to write, actually everyone roll a perception roll. Not a passive perception, a proper perception roll, please. Jeff as well. Yeah, all of you.
15.
15.
Okay, so. Okay, sorry, Jeff. Jeff, you are completely unaware of what I'm about to say. What you've realized, Warren, and what you're realizing, Aiden, is that these creatures that you're fighting had been fighting amongst themselves. They're all wounded already. Right? Like, they're not on full health, right? They have been in the desert fighting each other when you guys showed up. You killed the yellow one, and it shot out so much steam that you took, and I do apologize for this because you missed those second D20 rolls, by the way, were to see whether or not you got out of the way when the steam hit. I rolled well for once. 29 points of damage.
So I'm only mildly roasted.
Yeah, you're properly burned, right? Like, I mean, you are like second degree burns. I don't know much about degree burns, but like bad burns on your face, on your neck. You realize that if you don't get these treated pretty quickly, like you're going to be scarred. You have now lost 33 hit points total. You've been more wounded on this fight than you have in practically any battle in the arena. All right, Jonathan, what do you do?
I'm going to take the sword that I have. I'm not going to use it cutting because I assume that this guy is misty. I'm going to use the flat of the blade and sweep it through to try to interrupt the mist and maybe make him separate.
Okay, what's your D20, please?
12.
12 plus. Sorry, I will tell you what it is. 12. Yeah, you hit. 12 plus 4. Yeah, you hit. 16. So anything above 16 hits. So 16 and above hit, I mean. Okay, please roll. I'll let you roll a D10 plus 4. Okay. Sorry, sorry, is it a D10? Yeah, it's. Sorry, 1 second. Ooh. Oh, a D10 plus 7. If you get more than 11, you kill it. And I'll let you describe the death.
7.
You kill it. Please describe how it meets the afterlife.
Since the sword swept through it vertically, it's like a big fly swatter. And what that did is that if you go out in the mist and or the smoke over a fire and you wipe your hand through it, it kind of curls up like this. The smoke, that's exactly what happened. It curled up like this, and so the head and the upper torso just floated up while the torso and the legs did this roiling action and back down. So like a balloon going up in the air, that was the head and the shoulders and the arms. Everything else just sort of drifted into the ground.
Allison and Aiden, please both of you roll a dexterity check.
With a 20?
Yes, please.
Ooh, 16.
Allison was waiting for it.
7.
She's no dummy. She knows the smoke is coming, and she tumbled out of the way to not get hit by the blast. Meanwhile, Aiden.
It wasn't a blast. It was a dissipation. There's a difference. Is there a blast when you throw your arm through the campfire, the smoke? I was very specific.
You're very specific.
Dissipation.
Can I? So what I'll do is you got another 3 hit points lost, and
from dissipating smoke.
Yeah, and so this is what happens. So you hit it, and it does that massive, beautiful balloon explosion that you just described.
No, there was no.
You must be a writer with this description.
There's no explosion. I was very specific.
See, now you see why the rules are so important, Jonathan.
And as you hit it, what happens is the blast of smoke. You manage
no
to step out of the way, but the dissipating smoke burns your arm hairs, and you have a very clear like there's a whole patch of like plain bald, baby butt bald level of forearm. And you're quite amused because you've never seen in this form at least, your arm without any hair on it. And it's quite well defined. You're actually now considering going fully shaved because you would be quite a well-toned creature. So, and with that, the blue one still hasn't done anything. I'm going to end on this and hand over to Morgan. Jonathan, please roll a religion check. So for you, that's +4.
On a 20?
Oh, okay. And Warren, please roll a perception check.
17.
No, not you, Warren.
No, did
You-
you roll one, a religion check?
You rolled a religion check. I thought you rolled a 20. Oh no, 17?
No, 17.
It's still great. It's 21. And Warren, can you roll a perception check?
18.
18. Okay, so 21. So Warren, what you immediately see is and Allison as well. Please roll a perception check. And tell me if you got a 16 or higher. Warren,
Look, what would it be?
So Warren, what you see is like these guys have clearly been battling, and there is a chest standing in between the three of them. 18. Okay. Allison, you have turned your gaze on the blue one, and the blue one is like watching with utter amusement and is pretty badly wounded, is what you realize. And that's partly why she wasn't participating. But the other part is there's a glint of it, like real intelligence in her eyes. And she realized that, like, if she just doesn't attack, maybe you two will take care of her problem for her. And Jonathan, when you kind of go through your religion check, you realize three things. Number one, that these jinn, the blue jinn dress like the jinn you heard about. The yellow jinn look like the jinn you heard about, right? So it's almost, if you combine the dress of the blue with the yellow, that would be what you thought jinn were. And that the jinn live in within the city of Ka, and the city of Ka is an emerald casing that surrounds a planet. You think it's stars, but it's not. It's a casing that surrounds the planet. And that the entrance to the city of Ka is by finding the pillars of Ka or is more specifically referred to as Irim Ahmad. If you find Irim Ahmad or the pillars of Ka, you are able to actually get inside. And when you think about the map that you were shown of the planet, you start to realize that, maybe we're not seeing a surface, we're seeing the emerald casing, right? You don't know what that means. You're not sure what to do with that knowledge, but that's all the information. The fight is over. Congratulations, guys. You have survived your first encounter. Warren, you're pretty badly beat up and probably need to go back for some healing. All right, Morgan, the floor is yours.
All right. So, in the wake of the fight, you're all standing in the same desert ruin space. You find a few things. So, you already have the sword. Aiden has the sword. And there is another object on the ground from the yellow djinn. And essentially the wrappings, the linen wrappings that were wrapped around it as armor are laying in a heap. But you get the sense that you can feel power emanating from them. There is something that they will. I'll just tell you what they will do. So essentially, that they are a strange form of magical armor that will temporarily add 5 armor class points to whoever is wearing them. Now, you don't have to be wrapped mummy like. You just have to have them on your person. So it's a type of armor that will give you a boost temporarily within a fight, up to 5 AC. The sword itself is just a sword made from metal. It's not silver. It's a blackish kind of metal, and it's just a good, solid weapon. You do notice, though, that it was remarkably effective against the Jinn. So there may be something in the sword that is enabling it to do damage to those sort of ethereal creatures. The blue Jinn is still alive. Did I get that right, Rami? Yes. The blue Jinn is still alive and is waiting to see what happens next, sort of leaning back a little bit. You do not get the sense that she is aggressive at all. And as Rami said, you get the sense that she is happy that, or pleased that you have dealt with basically her enemies in this case. How would you like to proceed? So in front of you, you have the linen strips. You already have the sword. You can do what you like with those. And it's up to you what you want to do. And of course, Warren, you are badly wounded.
Jennings will go to the linen strips and wrap them around her hands in some fashion so that her hands are more protected.
Right. You feel the power from these things sort of kick in and immediately. So you get an additional 5 AC for I haven't worked out the mechanics of it. Rami will figure out in the when the next fight happens how long it lasts for, but it's essentially a pretty big boost for a little while there.
And I'm just going to turn to her and say, you really need it as much as Warren? Warren's really beat up, and obviously he's not a very good fighter.
I am a fantastic fighter. It's not my fault that they're made out of spicy gas.
Is there
excuse me, I'm going to take
our... you can use, Warren? Do you want to wait in the van?
You are thinking that I am far more prepared than I actually am. I smash things. Thinking ahead is for other people, like Louise. But I'm going to go skedaddle on the ship before, this beautiful mug gets messed up any more than it is. So y'all have fun, unless you need me here for anything.
Yeah. So, and Trebek comes in and says, Warren is indeed needed back in the games because he has basically levels that he must be a part of, and he's basically skipping out. So if he doesn't get healed up and do his duties, the game, he'll be disqualified from the games, which means death. The rough running time that Warren will be away, in terms of Warren's time, is 2 days, but for you guys is 6 hours. And so Warren will return in 6 hours to pick you guys up, provided you're still alive. Also, provided he's still alive, because he will be fighting in a tournament, which could very well kill him and strand you on this planet. So
now, wasn't there a box? Then I hear there was a box somewhere.
Yes, there was a box.
I'm kind of curious what's in that box.
A box that the blue lady was suspiciously staring at. So Warren is just backing away towards the ship. Be like,
yeah, I'm gonna walk up to the box, but I don't know if it's going to be booby trapped or something. So I'm gonna poke it a few times with the sword and see if it looks like it's easy to open or not.
Okay, so there are a few things. So Warren is sort of
backing away towards the ship to skedaddle, but very
yeah.
obviously pointing out the blue Jinn on the box. It's just like, something's going on there, guys.
Yeah, you guys sort it out. So Warren is backing away. So you do notice two things with this blue Jinn. One is that there is a box in front of her, as you've said. The other is that she is holding a book of some sort, a very ornate, looks leather bound. It has, blue gems, usual sort of thing. She's holding a book of some sort, and the box is in front of her. You get the sense also that potentially the box is what they were arguing over or fighting over or whatever the case. You tap it with the sword, and it just gives a metal tink. There's nothing happens, nothing gets set off. It just is, a box essentially.
And would they ask her, what is it?
What's in the box?
Yeah. You open it up, there's a head in... No, joking.
Oh.
So When
What's
she
in
speaks,
the box?
when she speaks to you, you hear it in your mind, not through your ears. But she does speak in a feminine tone, and it's in English, so you can understand it. And she explains that she doesn't answer the question. So what's in the box? She ignores that. She opens up the book to you and hands it out and says the word danger. And in the book, you see a drawing of a large creature with a giant maw and rows and rows and rows of teeth, kind of Dune-like, like the sandworm kind of thing, like a vast creature. And there are other scribblings that you can't understand written around there, but she's pointing that to you and essentially impressing that word on you, danger, and then the second word that comes to you is below, danger below, and you get the sense that she's trying to impress this information upon you, but she doesn't answer what's in the box. But she also doesn't seem concerned with it. She seems more interested in you and what you're about.
Do we all hear this in our head?
Yes, so you can all hear it at the same time.
How do you get below?
How do you get below? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's James asking. How do you get below?
Oh, okay. So she flips some pages of the book, and you see a stone entryway. It looks above ground. It's a sketch again, but it looks like almost like a little shrine sort of thing, an entryway into something leading down. She points to that and then points north.
So there's stairwell or tunnel to the north.
I'm going to open the box. Probably a bad idea, but in my Bard case, I'm a little bit I'm not as conservative.
Right. Okay. So while this is going on and they're talking and everything, you just open the box.
Yep.
Yes. I told you would be a I told you you'd be a natural at this, Jonathan. That's exactly what we expect from players.
And what you find in the box, this information is given to you somehow through the game mechanics and whatnot, is that it is the written word media strongbox of potentialities. Boom, boom, advertising. So, essentially, within this box, you find two medallions. Two metal medallions. They're both made of silver. Joking. They're not made of silver. They're just normal metal. But on one is the word Aiden, the name Aiden. And on the other is Allison. Both written on these things. And you get the sense, well, first of all, do you touch them, pick them up, do anything?
Yeah,
you just see them at the moment.
I'll pick them up with the tip of the sword, smell it,
Right.
Look at it. My sense of smell tells me a lot. And then I'm going to not determine that there's anything wrong. I'm going to give Allison hers, and I'm going to keep Aiden's.
Right.
I love it.
So,
He has determined that there's nothing wrong with it. Roll a d20. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. No, you're good. So what this medallion does is it's a one-off object. So it's an object you can use once at any time in the game, and it gives you a +5 to any roll. So it could, in a dire moment, help you out, or if you really want to push something over the top, you could add that at any moment. So it's a +5. You can use it whenever, and it just sort of stays on your person until it's used. Other than that, it's just metal. Doesn't really do anything. All right. So
is it a one-time use item?
Yeah. Just once. So you are here at the landing site. You know that north is where you need to be heading, both because that's what Warren had already told you, that a few miles north is where the entrance is to find this object that you're here for, that's going to help humanity in the games. But you also have this blue djinn now pointing out in the same direction, an entryway to get below, where there is danger some giant creature, all of that sort of stuff. The blue djinn doesn't say any more. She closes the book and sort of recedes a little bit, but doesn't do anything. What would you like to do? And the box is empty now.
Head north.
Head north.
Yeah,
All
I mean,
right.
she said the way down was north, right? So we're gonna head north.
You head north, and it's you're walking through sand. There's very little. There's dunes, all that sort of stuff around, but there's very little within the landscape that stands out. So it's fairly easy to see. After a mile and a half, you see a structure of some sort. Again, it's old. It looks ruined or semi-ruined, but it fits the description of what the sketch that was seen in the blue blue djinn's book. You walk up. And you see a figure standing in front of the doorway. So nice big doorway. There's no doors. It's just an opening, that's dark on the inside, a bit cave-like. And you see a figure there as you approach, but you're not close enough yet to. You're just getting the impression that there's someone there. You don't know who or what it is, and there's no color that you sense. I mean, Aiden, you don't sense the color anyway.
Blowing?
There is a little bit of a wind blowing. Yep.
Is it coming toward us or is it going away from us?
It is blowing your stink right into that person or that figure. So it's,
thanks for ruining my plan.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And then the wind shifts. No. What would you like?
All right, I guess we'll approach the figure.
I'm going to suggest that we
Yeah.
split apart and then converge on the figure.
Okay. So as you draw closer, you see that this figure looks like a djinn, a very similar figure to the ones that you've seen before. There doesn't seem to be a predominant color. It's wrapped in similar fabric to what the yellow djinn was, but and has not armor, but there are some metal components in its outfit. It doesn't have a real color, as I said. Around its neck is a bone shackle that looks to have been broken. It's a thick shackle that's made of bone and a metal that Aiden, through long years of being a werewolf, you kind of sense maybe silver in binding this thing together. But you can tell that it's broken, and the djinn is. You don't know if it's crying, you don't know if it's anguish, you don't know but you get the sense that the noises that it's making, it's not happy, but it's also not being aggressive. It has noticed you approaching, but it doesn't seem to be reacting in any way. It still seems, just to be standing there.
Well, if I sense silver, I tend to want to stay away from it because it hinders my ability to heal. So that can make any injury more dangerous to me. But if this thing sounds like it's an anguish, this person, this djinn or whatever, I'm going to go point to my companion in arms and kind of suggest that she initiate contact while I stand off the shoulder and watch.
Yeah, Jennings will kind of approach from the side, kind of keeping it in front of her and sort of sidestepping so that wherever she ultimately ends up, it'll either have to look at me or it'll have to look at Jonathan, but it can't look at us both at the same time. And then she'll be like, "Are you guarding the entrance or are you observing the entrance?"
So the djinn turns to you and seems fine with having its back to Aiden. Turns to you and says again, the voice directly coming into your mind. You can both hear the voice. He is not a guard. He is recently freed. So his words are a little bit scattered. You have to sort of piece them together. He's clearly in distress, but he points repeatedly to the broken shackle and says that he is freed and in mourning. He has freed himself, but he is in mourning because of his kin who are still enslaved below. That's the impression that you get You get the sense that he is not aggressive towards you in any way. He's also not guarding the entrance. The other thing is that he does hold in one hand a pickaxe. It's rudimentary kind of construction. It looks, fairly sturdy, but it looks more like a work axe than a weapon.
So they're mining down here, huh? He's gonna mining.
Yeah, roll a, since you said that, roll a perception check, specifically an insight check.
Let's see, you got 11. Inside is 3, so 12 to 14.
14. Okay, so not high enough to get everything, but one thing you do notice is that whatever is around his neck, he has similar. There's a similar substance or similar broken pieces around his wrist, but also the actual axe itself is made from the same substance around his neck and his piece, and it's not metal.
I'm gonna walk up to him and hold my hand out to reach for the pickaxe.
Okay, so he doesn't.
I'm not gonna grab it. I'm just gonna point at it and hold my hand out.
He lifts his hand a little bit towards you, so to make it easier for you to touch the thing. You get the sense that this is not an implement that he is particularly attached to. It's more an implement that represents his indenturement. And
so I'm gonna take the pickaxe, and then I'm gonna, see if I can't tap it against the armor, on the chains on his wrist.
Okay, so the djinn looks at you in confusion, but you get the sense of also relief and a sense of you're not trying to harm, you're trying to free, which is similar to his way of thinking and what he is trying to do. He nods furiously at you and points below, and then points to the shackles, and then points below. You start piecing together that he's not so concerned about himself. He's concerned about the others that are down below.
Yeah. And you also see almost imperceptible, but little mists of smoke coming out of his eyes as he's tearing up. But the tears manifest as little puffs of smoke. Kind of.
Are they explosions of smoke? Or all
right, so Jeff, Alex, 5 points of damage.
All right. Yeah. Well, Jennings will tell him that she'll do her best to free his kin, and we'll head down. Assuming Aiden doesn't have anything to say.
No, I've been watching. I've got pretty good insight myself, and it's pretty obvious what's going on. But I'm not 100% sure of what the things on his wrist are, or if that was just shackled before. But I think I'm anxious to get below.
All right. So he, first of all, sort of clasps his hands together. You still have the pickaxe. Jennings still has the pickaxe. He puts his hands together, gives a little bow, makes a sign with his hand that you don't understand, but you get the gist of, it's a sign of thanks. And then he walks in to the area, and you go sort of follow him down into some rough stairs into a dark corridor. The temperature drops immediately, and obviously the further down that you go, the more the temperature drops and drops. It is a long stairway, stone stairway that just goes down and down and down and down. Deep below, cut into niches in the walls are glowing stones that light the path as you walk. And as you're going, the djinn ahead of you starts telling you a story in its broken English. First, it tells you its name is Adam, and that it has been enslaved, and its people have been enslaved for generations. in service to the machine. And they have been enslaved by a group of their own, effectively. So his people are called the Fa'al, the race of jinn that are sort of enslaved, to, in service to the machine. And they have been enslaved by the Ifkar, who are overseers, those sorts of things. The machine below is required to protect the world and their culture and the people and everything. It's incredibly important. But as Adam talks, you get the sense that he is distrustful of that fact and distrustful of the whole logic of serving the machine. And why is it only my kind that have to do this? Why do the Ifkar not do it? Why is it necessary for them to shackle us, versus, just ask us if we would like to, go there. And then, so as you keep walking down, things sort of levels out, the corridor levels out and starts to broaden, and you emerge into a larger chamber. Before you enter that chamber, Adam indicates to you that the shackles on the neck and the wrist and all that sort of stuff are bones that come from the creatures that are mined in this world. So this is not a mine that mines minerals or anything like that. It's mining the remains of some kind of vast creature. And you enter this. Oh, sorry, you go.
I was about to say, you said temperature's going down. Have we gotten down far enough for the temperature to go back up?
A little. Yeah, it's starting to move in the other direction. It's rocky. It's not sandy anymore. It's rocky, and the color of the rock is slightly different. It's very dark, and the rock is darker than sort of sandstone. And it feels like a mine. In the distance, you can hear the clink, clink, clink of pickaxes tapping away at something, and you can hear movement and those sorts of things as you move into this larger cavern. It's not easy to see because it's quite dark in the area, but you can see figures moving around as you move in, and Adam's presence, you can see him tense up as you move in, because this is where something is going to happen. Now, could I get you both to roll a perception roll, please? Just a d20.
Ooh.
10.
Right. Not a 1. Perception. 15 plus 3, so 18.
Okay. All right. So you both see ahead of you this. A large sort of area. So you're over here, number one. You see sort of a bridge crossing a cavern, and across that bridge, you see more jinn. Some of them look exactly like Adam, but in the distance, particularly Jennings, you notice a figure that is looks different, taller, more regal, if you like, dressed in fine armor, and holding a scepter with a red orb on the top. And that red orb, you can kind of faintly see threads of energy linking that orb to several other jinn that are around mining.